Okay, this is my first video of 2026. Today is the 3rd of January 2026. Um, um, I am on the AFCON as usual. I'll be talking about the is it quarterfinal or the 116 of the AFCON? Let me check it. Today, Senegal is playing Sudan, Mali is playing Tunisia, Morocco is playing Tanzania tomorrow, and South Africa is taking on Cameroon tomorrow. Now I'll be tackling Sudan versus Senegal, Mali versus Tunisia for today, and for tomorrow I'll tackle Tunisia, Morocco versus Tanzania, and South Africa versus Cameroon. I will tackle both of them, all the four matches today, and tomorrow I'll tackle the matches to be played on Monday. Yeah, that's what I'm doing today. As usual, my name is Richard Darko. You may call me Nana Kwesi Ajman or Ammonia. Ammonia is the nickname, and you can find me on YouTube under Ammonia84 or Richard Darko. You will find me there. I'm pretty popular over there. I'm talking about Senegal and Sudan. Sudan and Senegal, they first met on the I think the friendly match in 2012. Yeah, that was the first time Sudan met Senegal. Senegal versus Senegal. It is not a regular fixture in the African football. It's not a regular fixture. Yeah, I'll put it that way. They met in 2012 when Demba scored 1-0 for Senegal in a friendly match. Yeah, that is it. Happening in Dakar. In the AFCON qualifiers, they met in 2018. AFCON qualifiers. Senegal beat Sudan 3-0. I remember Idrissa Gana Gueye scored one. Pape Cissé scored one, and then Niang also scored one. In the return leg, it was 1-0 for Senegal in Khartoum. Sarr scored the lone goal for Senegal. And in 2006, at 2026 World Cup qualifiers, they met also last year, 2025. The first leg in Sudan was 0-0, and the return leg in Senegal was 2-0 to Senegalese. They met also in Chan. I remember you know the Chan. I hope you know the Chan. The Chan is the African Cup, AFCON for local players based in Africa. Yeah, that is called the Chan. Senegal and Sudan ended 0-0, and they played the third place final. The 0-0 happened in the group stage, Group D, and they played a third place playoff in Kampala. Remember, Uganda was host nation for 2024 AFCON. I remember it's Uganda and Kenya, yeah, and Tanzania. I think they hosted the 2024 Chan. They played the third place playoff. It ended 1-1, and Senegal won 4-2 and on penalties. Overall, they have met 7 times. Yeah, they have met 7 times. Senegal have won 4 times within regulation time. 3 matches have ended in a draw, but Senegal won one on penalties, which took place on the 2024 Chan. Yeah, taking their tally to 5. So if you add the penalty shooters to the 4 that Senegal has won within regulation time, it will make it 5 times that Senegal have won against Sudan. Yeah, that is it. Sudan has never recorded a win over Senegal. Sudan has never recorded a win over Senegal, but their previous 2 matches ended in draw. In fact, in 4 matches, Senegal has only won 1. Yeah, so you might see something is building. Yeah, and 3 matches have ended in draw. Yeah, something is really building. So if Senegal loses to Sudan, it will be a shock. Remember, Sudan is not a powerhouse in African football. They used to be a powerhouse in African football. In the 50s, they were a powerhouse 60s and 70s. Yeah, they won 1970 Nations Cup. So you could see Sudan used to be a powerhouse in African football, just like Ghana used to be a very powerhouse in African football. They are still a powerhouse, but come on, in 43 years, they have never won the Nations Cup. So the AFCON, the last time they won it, it was in 1982. So you might not consider them as a powerhouse of African football. Yeah, they are they are still good, but not as powerful as they used to be. Um, that is Sudan for you. So if Senegal beats Sudan, it won't be a surprise. But when Sudan beats Senegal, yeah, it will be a surprise. And the coach, Kwasi Appiah, he has never lost to Senegal, even as a player. Yeah, he's a Ghanaian who's coaching Sudan. So he was a fantastic defender and never lost to Senegal. Yeah, that is Senegal and Sudan for you. Tunisia and Mali, they are playing today. This will be the 16th meetings between Tunisia and Mali, which means they have met 15 times. Tunisia have won 7 times of the 15 times, and Mali has won 5, and 3 matches have ended in draw. So you can see that we are pretty close. 7 to Tunisia, 5 for Mali. They are very close. Yeah, if Mali wins today, it will be 76. Yeah, and they first met in 1972 Olympic Games qualifiers. Mali won 2-0 in Bamako. In the return leg in Tunis, it was 4-0 to Tunisia. Yeah, Tunisia and Mali have met 4 times previously in the AFCON. Yeah, and Mali remain unbeaten, with Mali remaining unbeaten in the AFCON. 4 times they have met in the AFCON. Tunisia cannot beat Mali. Yeah, Mali has won 2 and drawn 2. This will be their first knockout stage meetings. All the previous 4 were the group stage. Yeah, they met in 1994 group stage. Group A, that is Tunisia 1994. Mali beat them 2-0. Cameroon 2021 they met. Ivory Coast 2023 they also met at the group stage. So that's it. Egypt 2009 and Cameroon 2021 they met at the group stage. Yeah, they will be meeting at a 4th successive tournament. Yeah, they faced each other in 2019. They faced each other in 2021, and then they faced each other in 2023, and they are facing each other again in 2025. In fact, they are the first time 2 teams are meeting 4 times in a row. I think Ghana and Ivory Coast, they did it in 1965, 1968, and then 1970. Yeah, Ghana met Ivory Coast 3 times in a row. This is 4 times, so it is a record. Mali defeated host Tunisia 2-0 in their opening match of the 1994 AFCON, and progressing to the knockout stage alongside DR Congo, while Tunisia was eliminated at the group stage. Yeah, at Cameroon 2021, a 48-minute goal. It was a 48. I think it was a penalty. Yeah, from Ibrahim Mukone. Yeah, handed the Malian 1-0 in Limbe in Cameroon. These games, both teams progress. Mali as group winners and Tunisia in 3rd place. Both have the 2019 and 2023. Both of them ended in a draw. Yeah, I remember for that one. I remember they ended in the draw. Yeah. In all 4 matches against Tunisia at the AFCON, Mali always scores. In all 4 matches at the AFCON, Mali always scores. So if they score today, don't be surprised. In fact, Mali have drawn 24 of their 62 AFCON matches to date. By so doing, Mali have drawn more matches than the matches they have won. Yeah, remember the Mali got to this stage by drawing all three matches. They drew against Comoros, they drew against Morocco, and then they drew their last game against Zambia. Yeah, their last game was against Comoros. They drew against Zambia, Zambia too. Yeah, they played the first match was Zambia, and then they drew against Morocco, and then they drew against Comoros. So that's that. They have drawn more matches at the AFCON than they have won. I think they have done 24. Yeah, and then yeah, and won. I think they won World 21. Yeah, Mali is again winless in their last 4 matches at the AFCON, which is their longest run since going 6 games without a win between 2015 and 2017. Mali are also on a 4-match winless run. Their last win was a 2-1 win, round 16 over Burkina Faso in 2023. For Tunisia, they have kept just 1 clean sheet in their last 7 AFCON matches. It means they're leaking goals. The defense is leaking goals. Yeah, and Mali always scores against Tunisia at the AFCON. So this game, expect goals. Expect Mali to score. Yeah. Also, they have also scored 105 goals. Talking about Tunisia, they have scored 105 goals and conceded 101 in 86 matches. Yeah, Tunisia have lost 4 of their last 5 matches that went to extra time in open play. Yeah. Morocco against Tunisia. This one is for tomorrow. They'll be playing. I might not get time to talk about it, so I am doing a video for it today. Morocco takes on Tanzania. This is the second AFCON meeting between the two nations. Yeah, following their group stage encounter at the 2023 edition. Remember last 2 years when they met? 2 or 3. We are in 2026, so it's like 3 years. When they met at group stage, Morocco won 3-0. Yeah, and went on to finish as group winners, while Tanzania ended bottom of the group. Tanzania are facing a host nation for the second time at AFCON. Yeah, having previously lost to Nigeria 3-1, and then they met. They're meeting. They're meeting at Morocco today. Yeah, they're meeting to Morocco, who's a host nation. So that is that. Nigeria went on to win the 1980 Nations Cup. That was the first time Nigeria won the Nations Cup, and ever since they won the Nations Cup, they have not looked back. Yeah, that is Nigeria for you. Tanzania, overall, the two sides have met 8 times in all competitions. Morocco and Tanzania have met 8 times in all competitions. Morocco have won 7 of those meetings, including the last 5. Yeah, the last 5, Morocco has won it. While Tanzania have recorded only 1 victory over Morocco. There have been no draws between Morocco and Tanzania, no draw. And in this game, the draw is not permitted. Yeah, somebody has to win. Somebody has to be eliminated. And if you ask me, I know who will be eliminated, who will go to the next stage of the competition. Morocco have scored in all 8 games against Tanzania, and they have kept 5 clean sheets. Yeah, 5 clean sheets. Tanzania have failed to score in their last 4 matches against Morocco. Tanzania's only win over Morocco came in 2024 World Cup qualifiers, when they won 3-1 in March 2023. Yeah, I remember, in Dar es Salaam, when they won 3-1 against Morocco. That is the only victory Tanzania has over Morocco. This is Tanzania's 5th meeting with a North African team at the AFCON. Yeah, they lost their first 3 encounters against Egypt in 1980. Lost it in Algeria 2029, and then Morocco in 2023. Yeah, and they're facing Morocco again before drawing to Tunisia at the current edition. Yeah, they drew 1-1 with They drew or lost. Yeah, they lost to Tunisia. Yeah, Tanzania have drew. They drew. Yeah, they drew with Tunisia. Yeah, it was 1-1. Tanzania have conceded a goal in each of their 4 AFCON matches against North Africans opposition. Yeah, Morocco are the second team Tanzania faced twice at AFCON. Yeah, they faced Nigeria as host nation in 1980. Yeah, and then they faced Nigeria again this year. And they are facing Morocco again at the AFCON. For Morocco, victory will take them to the quarterfinals for the 5th time. That is 1988. They went to the quarterfinals. 2004, they went to the quarterfinals. 2017, they went to the quarterfinals. And 2021, they went to the quarterfinals. Remember, Morocco has won the Nations Cup before 1976. They never went to the quarterfinals in 1976. In 1976, for the first time, the top 2 teams from each group were taken, and then they played a round robin, 4 teams in the round robin. And in the final games against Guinea, they had 4 points. They were on 4 points, and Guinea were on 3 points. So Guinea needed to win that game to win the Nations Cup AFCON 1976. And Morocco also were on 4 points. So a draw was okay for Morocco. Guinea scored first in the 86th minute. They equalized, and then Morocco won the Nations Cup without going to quarterfinals or finals. I hope you understand me. Yeah, they didn't go to the quarterfinals or go to the semifinals, and then they won the AFCON on points. Morocco have conceded in each of their last 5 knockout matches. Yeah, in 1988 they lost 2-1 to South Africa. I'm sorry, 1998 they lost 2-1 to South Africa. Yeah, in 2004 they beat Algeria 3-1. In 2017 they lost 1-0 to Egypt. In 2021 they beat Malawi 2-1. The last clean sheet in knockout football they have is a 4-0 win over Mali in 2004. Yeah, when I remember Youssef Mukhtari, he scored a brace in that game, and Youssef Haji is a younger brother to Mustafa Haji, 1998 Africa Best. He's a younger brother to Mustafa Haji. He also scored in that, and Nebe Baha, he also scored 1 goal for the Moroccans. Also, if you remember, Brahim Diaz, he has 3 goals for this this Nations Cup. He has scored 3 goals, and if he scores, he will be the Moroccan player to score more goals in the AFCON. Remember, Ahmed Faras in 1972 and 1976, he scored 3 goals for Morocco. Yeah, he scored 3 goals in succession for Morocco. So if Brahim Diaz scores today, he will be the first Moroccan player to score 4 goals in succession. Yeah, and then he will be the Moroccan player to have scored 4 goals. Brahim Diaz and El Kabi both have 3 goals at this tournament. So if both scores, or either player scores, that would be a new Moroccan record for goals in a single tournament. For Tanzania, they have qualified for the knockout rounds for the first time without winning a single match. On form guide, they are quite strong. Yeah, on form guide, they are quite strong. Remember, they are called the Taifa Stars. Yeah, they have just lost only once in their last AFCON matches. Yeah, the one they lost was against Nigeria. Drawn 4 and lost just 1. They have scored in all 3 group matches in this year's AFCON. So you expect them to score against Morocco, which is a tough ask. Yeah, if you ask me, it is a tough ask for them to score. And this is their only second time they have done so. So after 1980, which they scored in each game. Yeah, again, they have scored. Tanzania remains winless. They remain winless at AFCON, 12 matches. They can win. They cannot win. So a win against Morocco means the first time they have won, and I doubt it. Yeah, I have to tell the truth. I doubt it that Morocco will allow that to happen. South Africa versus Cameroon. That is the tough match. That is my pick. Yeah, that is my pick. South Africa is playing Cameroon. If you remember, South Africa began international football in 1992. Yeah. South Africa and Cameroon have both met each other 9 times in all competitions. South Africa has won 3. That is the most between the two. 1 for Cameroon, and 5 matches have ended in draws. So South Africa versus Cameroon is always a draw. 5 matches in the draw, 1 win for Cameroon, and then 3 wins for South Africa. South Africa returned to international football, as I told you, in 1992 and arranged 3 matches against Cameroon. Remember, Cameroon went to 1990 World Cup, and in that World Cup, they did fantastic. They did so well. So it isn't surprising that when South Africa regained its international status in football, they played 3 matches, friendly matches with Cameroon. The first one happened on July 7th, 1992, under Botswana referee. I think his name is Jealous in table. I think so. And South Africa beat Cameroon 1-0 with Dr. Kumaro scoring the only goal of the match in the 81st minute from the penalty spot. Yeah, I remember that game. I watched it. After this victory, South Africa played 2 more friendlies with Cameroon on 9th of July 1982. That is, the first one happened on the 7th of July, and that is 2 days later. They played again in Cape Coast. I'm sorry, Cape Town. Cape Coast is a town in Ghana. Yeah, it's Cape Town that they played the game. Cameroon this time around revenged the 2-1 with 2-1 win over South Africa. Onana scored an own goal. Yeah, Onana scored an own goal and got sent off in the 56th minute. And then Ewane equalized for Cameroon in the 9th minute. I think Ewane equalized in the 9th minute, and Onana's own goal was in the 8th minute. Yeah. And then Ewane again scored again for Cameroon in the 87th minute for Cameroon to come out victorious with 2-1 victory over South Africa. They played again on the 11th of July 1992 to complete the 3 matches. This time around, they played in Johannesburg at First National Bank Stadium. Yeah, where the game ended 2-2. They never met again until 1994 when they played with each other in a 4 Nations tournament, Simba Cup. If you remember that Simba Cup, that Simba Cup in 1994, Ivory Coast, Ghana, South Africa, and Cameroon. Yeah, they met each other, and that game ended in a 1-1 draw. Herman Makelele, he is the assistant coach of South Africa. He played in that game. Yeah, Herman Makelele played in that game, the assistant coach for South Africa. Yeah, he featured in the 1-1 draw for South Africa and Cameroon. The first competitive match that they played, remember, all these matches are friendly matches. The Simba Cup, you could be termed as competitive, but it's not so competitive. Yeah, it's not too competitive, but the real competitive match they played was the AFCON 1996. Look at this. When the first game for South Africa, the first game was against Cameroon, and then their first competitive game they are playing against Cameroon. What a story! Yeah, it was a proper game, a proper performance from South Africans. The South Africans came out victorious with a 3-0 nil, 3-1 win, 3-0 win. Yeah, 3-0 win. If you remember, Philemon Masenga, he scored in that game. If you remember him, he's dead in 2019. He scored in that game. And then Mark Williams and John Wushu, they also scored for Bafana to win 3-0 against Cameroon. Makelele again was played in that game. Herman Makelele, he played in that game as well for South Africa. In 2008, they met in Mandela Cup when South Africa won 3-2. In fact, Cameroon's only victory over South Africa was the 2-1 win in the friendly match in 1992. Yeah, that is the only win Cameroon has over South Africa to date. Cameroon have never beaten South Africa in competitive match before. It has never happened. In the competitive match, South Africa wins. The current coach for South Africa is Hugo Bruce. He was in charge of Cameroon. Yeah, he was in charge of Cameroon. Yeah, South Africa are unbeaten in 7 matches against Cameroon since their defeat in July 1992. The last 3 meetings between the teams have ended in draws, including the friendly match in 2015, yeah, and 2017 AFCON. Both matches ended in 0-0. Yeah, the last winner in this fixture was in 2008 in the Mandela Cup when South Africa beat Cameroon by 3-2. I don't know why I keep saying Nigeria. I don't know why I talk about Nigeria. The last the teams met during the qualification for 2017 AFCON, and yeah, their first match was played in Limbe in 2016. Yeah, remember the match ended 2-2. Yeah, the return leg in Durban was 0-0. Cameroon qualified for the finals in Gabon, while South Africa failed to qualify. South Africa are unbeaten in 7 matches against Cameroon since the defeat in 1992. I told you that earlier. And they have won 2 and drawn 5. Yeah, the last 3 meetings, as I told you, have all ended in draw. Yeah, they are all ended in draw. The last winner in this feature again was 2008. Yeah. Yeah, the last winner was in 2008 when South Africa won 3-2. The last conceded in 4 successive matches at AFCON. Talking about South Africa. Yeah. Will Cameroon win for the first time, or South Africa wins? That is the question you need to ask yourself. So I'll leave you here for tomorrow. They play each other. Cameroon versus South Africa. Mali versus Mali is playing Tunisia, I think. And Sudan is playing Senegal, which is today. Yeah, Mali, Tunisia. Yeah, which is coming on tomorrow. I will leave you here and talk about other things tomorrow. See you. My name is Richard Ako. You can see me or find me on YouTube or Ammonia. Thank you.